Hey everyone, welcome back to another version of this ranking video for every episode of Black Mirror. Of course, our last one came out 2 years ago. We are now here with 6 more episodes, making this all 34 episodes of Black Mirror ranked. That is every episode and additional spin-off material such as the movie, such as the Christmas special, all the way through season 7, which just dropped today as of recording, yesterday as of this video being live. So let me give my kind of thoughts on these 6 episodes as they came out. My thoughts are going to be a little scattered. Like I said, it just came out. I got through a single watch through of every single episode. A more detailed analysis may be coming in the future, but also stay tuned for my entire timeline of Black Mirror video, getting an update for season 7 coming out sometime in the next couple weeks here. So if you want to join and stay tuned for that, feel free to like this video and subscribe, and we will see that in turn. But let's go back to where we left off with part 2 of this video 2 years ago after season 6. So that was how things were ranked the last time we were here. All 28 episodes from the first 6 seasons there. My thoughts may have changed, and like I said, I may update this completely going forward, but I just kind of wanted to pin my thoughts on where they fit in based on my single watch through of season 7. We're going to start with what I think is the weakest episode and go all the way to the top with what I think is a near perfect episode of Black Mirror. This season compared to last season, if you'll recall my thoughts on that, if you've seen part 2, last season it felt like there were some very good episodes in there and then a lot of filler. It still felt like Black Mirror. It felt like they were doing a few new things, and my thoughts have changed since then, but with season 7, after a first watch through, apart from one single episode, it didn't feel like there was anything there that didn't have a right to be there, if that makes any sense. I thought everything was a really, really solid Black Mirror episode, except for one that we'll talk about. So let's start at the very bottom. And I'm going to start with Plaything. Now, this is not to be confused with Playtest from season 3, but Plaything, starring Peter Capaldi here. I'm going to place Plaything under Smithereens and above Archangel. Now, the reason that I don't like this episode that much is it's basically a sequel to Bandersnatch. And Bandersnatch, you'll recall from part 1 of this, when I ranked everything through season 5, I think. With Bandersnatch, the story isn't really that exciting. It just kind of plays with the gimmick of being a choose-your-own-adventure movie. It was kind of the first one to do that. And with Plaything as a sequel to that, there's a story there, but it doesn't really feel full. It's very similar to Bandersnatch, but it doesn't have the gimmick that Bandersnatch had. I really do enjoy Peter Capaldi's performance as kind of the main anti-hero antagonist character to this, kind of telling a story in reverse. It takes place in the future, but then has flashbacks to the past where he's played by a younger actor. We see the return of Will Poulter to his role from Bandersnatch, and so that's where the connection comes in. It's a very similar plotline to Bandersnatch, but goes in a very dark, different direction. And maybe part of why I don't like this episode that much is the ending is very bizarre. And what I mean by that is it basically says that the world is ending at the end of this. And for me, as I'm trying to write my timeline video, it doesn't really make sense. Whereas something with Demon 79 can be explained away by saying it all happened in Nita's head. Whereas this episode, really, there isn't a way to explain away what happens at the end of the episode. I don't want to spoil too much. Of course, there will be spoilers for a lot of these episodes here. But the whole premise of this is Peter Capaldi's main character goes insane, similar to the main character of Bandersnatch, because he trips on acid and then basically communicates with these digital creatures that take over his life and teach him how to control the world through computers. Very bizarre plotline, and I don't think they really did that much with it, and it didn't quite keep me hooked beyond the little twist that came at the end. And so for me, it's strong D tier. It's the one episode that I would say doesn't feel like it has that much of a right to exist. But I'm a big Peter Capaldi fan. You guys know that from my Doctor Who videos. I enjoyed him in this performance, but beyond that, the episode wasn't a huge fan of beyond that. Now let's talk about some better episodes. I'm going to take a jump all the way through C tier. And the next highest episode I'm going to take is Common People. And where should we put Common People? I'm tempted to put it... I'll put it below Beyond the Sea. Now, Common People is the season opener, and it very much feels like the quintessential Black Mirror episode, right? Where you have kind of this technology that seems really, really great at first, and immediately comes with a lot of repercussions. It's got kind of a tonal consistency with something like Shut Up and Dance, because of the whole being blackmailed into doing things on camera thing. It's kind of this B plot to the episode. It feels very much like Joan is Awful at first, and then kind of takes a darker direction. And the ending's very depressing. The ending to this episode is very dark, very depressing, and almost, I don't want to say San Junipero-ish in a very different way, but it really just feels like if you were to boil down what a Black Mirror episode looks like, this is copy and paste what that is. I thought the performances were fantastic. I thought the characters were enjoyable and fun, and you were rooting for them. But beyond that, I think the other episodes in this season above it, the 4 that we have left, are just better than it. It's sitting in B tier. It's a strong episode, but I think it does have to be put in that 5th spot out of 6 because of the fact that the 4 episodes above it are that much better. Next, I'm going to go with... Oh boy. Next, let's go with Bête Noire, which means Black Beast in French, is the translation of this one. And where should I put this one? I want to put it... I'll put it above Joan is Awful and below White Christmas. Now, this was a fun episode. It's definitely a Red Mirror episode. You'll recall what we talked about with the Red Mirror episodes last season when we ranked Demon 79. The difference between these two is this episode kind of bridges the gap between the mystical that we get in Demon 79 and the technology that we're used to in Black Mirror. And so with this episode, the whole premise is that this woman's life becomes haunted by someone that she bullied in her past. The person returns to her life and basically starts rewriting her own history. It's a play on the Mandela effect, and it's done in a way that originally you think she's just a witch, like directly using witchcraft. And by the end of the episode, we understand that it's technology kind of allowing her to do that witchcraft kind of thing based on the quantum computer stuff that we saw last season with Joan is Awful. I think it's a more cohesive episode than Demon 79. I think it's a fun episode. It's a stronger episode, but it's still got kind of that haunting atmosphere that Demon 79 had as a Red Mirror episode. Beyond that, there's not too much with it. I thought the performances were great. I don't love the ending. I thought the ending could have been written a little better, a little less wacky, if that makes any... If you know the episode, you'll kind of understand what I'm saying there. And my opinions on these episodes, like I said, may change. I've only seen each of them once. I'm giving my immediate thoughts on them. So this is kind of a fresh take. But besides the ending, I thought it was a great episode. A lot of fun. Reminded me a lot of Joan is Awful and Demon 79 as well because of that Red Mirror tie-in. Next, in 3rd place for this season, we're going to go with Hotel Reverie. Now, I'm going to place Hotel Reverie... There's a reason I can't put it A tier. I'm going to put it top of B tier. The reason I can't put it A tier is because it felt too long. There are 2 hour-long plus episodes in this season, if I remember the numbers correctly. The other one we haven't touched on yet. The other one feels like it has that space to fill. Hotel Reverie feels like it's a little overbloated. It was my opinion watching it the first time. Now, I did end up having to pause this and watch it in parts, so maybe that's part of it, why I felt that way. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the technology and the way that they were kind of introducing this to the AI characters, what they were able to do with kind of the backstory to the character that Emma Corrin is playing in this episode. I thought the performances were great. Even I'm not a huge Awkwafina fan. That's not really my type of... I'm not a comedy fan to begin with, but that's really not my type of comedy. I thought in her role, she was able to kind of tone it down and play a more serious part. That was enjoyable to watch. I thought she did a great job with it. I thought the cast was great. I'm a huge fan of Emma Corrin. They did a fantastic job in this episode. Love them in The Crown. Love them in this. It was a kind of a mixing of worlds with like this whole Casablanca aesthetic with Black Mirror. Definitely saw shades of Joan is Awful in there again. It's interesting to see how many episodes I felt were influenced by Joan is Awful in this season, because for me, I wouldn't call it the most forgettable episode from last season, but I didn't expect them to kind of replicate the feeling of it as much as they did in this season, and I felt that a lot. Does have some vibes with Beyond the Sea, just given its time period and kind of the atmosphere of it. I liked the black and white aesthetic. I liked what they were able to do with it. I just felt like it was too long. I felt like the story could have been told in a shorter space than was told. Thought it went on a little long. But beyond that, I thought it was a great episode. I'm keeping it in B tier just simply for the length. Next, oh boy. I just got done watching USS Callister Into Infinity. Very obviously a continued parody of the Star Trek sequel series, or the new Star Trek series that came out starting in 2009. With the naming conventions, with the cinematography, same as USS Callister was the first time. And I'm really torn, because there were times when I was watching, I'm just going to call it Callister 2, just for the sake of, it's a long title. Callister 2, when I started watching the episode, I really wasn't that impressed with it. I thought it was very much using too many flashbacks from the original episode, was kind of milking that for the plot going forward. It was one of those stories, the difference between this episode and something like Plaything is the original source material, being USS Callister versus Bandersnatch. USS Callister leaves room for a sequel. Bandersnatch really didn't. And as the episode went on, and as the runtime continued to fill, I think it's something like 70 to 80 minutes long. It's almost feature length. The more I was watching it, the more I enjoyed this episode and what it was able to enhance from the original episode, to the point where it almost feels like the perfect sequel. Being reactionary, I don't want to put this higher than USS Callister. I'm going to put it right below it, simply because I felt like the beginning was a little too slow to get into. But by the end of the episode, I was so impressed with the twists that this episode took, with the way that it expanded the lore from the original episode. It really, like I said, was almost a perfect sequel. And so for that reason, it's going in S tier, a fantastic episode, fantastic follow-up to an already fantastic episode. And there's only one episode from this season that can go above it. In my opinion, and if you love Black Mirror simply for the technology aspect, maybe you don't love this episode. But you see my top two episodes here are Be Right Back and The Entire History of You. I'm a fan of the sad drama, the nostalgic drama, the wishing you could rewrite history, your own history. And I'm going to split the difference here. I don't think Eulogy is good enough yet for me to go in the top spot. Maybe it will upon a rewatch. But Eulogy was almost the perfect episode of Black Mirror for me. Paul Giamatti gives, fantastic actor to begin with, but just gives a masterclass of a performance. I predicted the ending, the twist on who the interface character is, but I got it wrong. I'm going to spoil the episode here, so if you don't want me to spoil it, then feel free to skip ahead to maybe 30 seconds or so. I was assuming that the interface was the woman he was in love with, and he just couldn't remember her. And that was part of what this process was. It ends up being her daughter. And so that twist was, I saw coming that there was a twist. I just got it wrong. It was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful episodes of television I've ever watched. And I'm fitting it right between two of my favorite television episodes of all time. I thought it was that good. I thought it told such a perfect story with such a small cast, such an intimate story of love and heartbreak and memories and getting over past traumas and past mistakes, confronting your own failures. Just all in all, a fantastic, fantastic episode of television. Like I said, it doesn't dwell too much on the technology aspect of it. It is based in a technology called Eulogy, and that's why this episode is part of the Black Mirror continuity. But just a really fantastic episode of television, and I think well and beyond the best episode this season. And you guys can argue. You're more than welcome to have your opinions that USS Callister Into Infinity is the best episode if that's kind of the sci-fi feel that you want from Black Mirror. But for me personally, my top 3 are all those memory-based, replacing human connection with technology in a way that comes up short. And that's what Eulogy did for me. And I was taken all the way back to seasons 1 and season 2. And for me, like, season 7 is such a return to form for Black Mirror. I thought season 6 was a return to form, even with the filler that it had. But I really haven't been this excited about Black Mirror since season 4. And it really feels like with some of these episodes, we are returning to something that has been missing for 8 years, which is fantastic. So that being said, my final rankings here, all 34 episodes through season 7 of Black Mirror. We're going to start in 34th place down in D tier. We have Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2. 33, The Waldo Moment. 32, Archangel. 31, we have Plaything. 30, Smithereens. 29, Bandersnatch. And 28 at the top of D tier, we have Striking Vipers. Moving up to C tier, number 27, Men Against Fire. 26, Maisie Day. 25, Metalhead. 24, top of C tier, we have Black Museum. Moving up to B tier, in 23rd place, we have the National Anthem. 22nd place, we have Demon 79. 21 is White Bear. 20 is going to be Common People. 19 is Beyond the Sea. 18, Hated in the Nation. 17, Joan is Awful. 16 is going to be Bête Noire. 15, White Christmas. 14, Play Test. 13 is going to be Hotel Reverie at the top of B tier. We're in the top 12 now, moving up to A tier. 12, Crocodile. 11, 15 Million Merits. 10, Shut Up and Dance. 9, Loch Henry. 8, Hang the DJ. 7, top of A tier is San Junipero. And moving into our S tier, these are the perfect episodes of Black Mirror, in my opinion. In 6th place, we have Nosedive. 5th place, Callister 2. 4th place, the original USS Callister. 3rd place, The Entire History of You. 2nd place, Eulogy. And for me, 1st place is still Be Right Back. Let me know what you thought of Black Mirror Season 7. Give me your rankings in the comment section below. We can discuss things that you liked, things you didn't like, and where maybe my rankings can improve in the future, because I think my opinions have changed from where we started this 2 years ago. Also, stay tuned for my Black Mirror timeline to be updated to Season 7 coming up sometime in the next couple weeks. And of course, Doctor Who starts this weekend, Season 2 of Doctor Who, and I will update my timeline once that season is done as well. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you want. Otherwise, we'll see you very, very soon.